What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about current news in Norway. As an American, I never get to see Norwegian news here in the United States, so today I'd like to take some time to learn about the current news and events happening in Norway right now. Starting with thousands of Ukrainians enter Norway's job market. Oh, wow. Are there like thousands of Ukrainian refugees like headed into Norway? Wow, they got all the way from like Ukraine to Norway. And it's really awesome that Norway seems to be a big supporter of Ukraine. And now a lot of Ukrainians are entering the Norwegian job market after losing their jobs, homes, and part of their country to Russian invaders. Thousands of Ukrainian refugees in Norway are now emerging from both personal trauma and introduction programs aimed at helping them adjust to life in Norway. How many Ukrainians are now in Norway? Like, do most Norwegians notice like an increase in the amount of Ukrainian people that they interact with on a daily basis? Is it a visible difference that there's a lot more Ukrainians in Norway? This is very interesting. Their next major challenge is to find jobs, and Norwegian officials are asking employers to give them a chance. Oh, so these are Ukrainians that have fled to Norway for safety and have just been living in Norway and are now, after a period of time, finally trying to assimilate into Norwegian culture, get jobs, make money, maybe even start a new life entirely in Norway. Wow, okay. These are Ukrainians that have been in Norway for some period of time already. It is extremely important that as many Ukrainians as possible join the workforce, Hans Christian Holte, director of Norway's Welfare and Unemployment Agency, told the newspaper. Wow, so if these Ukrainian refugees are trying to find jobs in Norway, that makes it sound like these refugees are in for the long haul, that they intend to stay in Norway for a long period of time. This war in Ukraine and Russia has definitely gone on a lot longer than a lot of people had hoped, especially Ukrainians, I'm sure. Finding jobs, especially meaningful employment, in line with the refugees' education and qualifications, will create inclusion and integration into Norwegian life and society. Wow, it'll give refugees an opportunity to develop an understanding of Norwegian society and the language in Norway. Right, this is very difficult. Maybe Ukrainians speak some English as well, then that would be very helpful for Norwegians and Ukrainians trying to communicate in a common language. But if these Ukrainians are actually going to stay in Norway for the foreseeable future, yeah, they might have to learn more about the culture and the Norwegian language and get jobs and homes and start families, and who knows how long term this could really be. But the important thing is it's really lovely to see how much Norway has embraced Ukrainians and the Ukrainian struggle in this conflict. That's been really cool to see, actually. Okay, so moving on here, we have Norway hit bottom at chaotic Eurovision. What? Oh yeah, the Eurovision. I actually I did a video. I got to see Norway's Eurovision song. It was awesome. It's amazing. I don't know what's going on with Eurovision. As an American, I'm not very up to date on the Eurovision contest. Did it start? Is it done? Did Norway compete? What's happening? What's happening? Norway hit bottom at chaotic Eurovision. Norway hit bottom. That doesn't sound like good. Is that good? Chaotic Eurovision? Hit bottom? Is this bad news? Or Norwegian fans of the annual Eurovision Song Contest were licking their wounds after Norway's entry ended up in last place? What? Are you kidding me? What? This is literally not what I expected to hear. Dang, that's... what the heck? I actually listened to the Norwegian song for Eurovision, and it was good. It was cool. And it was well done. It was a good song. How could this have gotten last place? What? How? The more I think about this, what? Who are the judges for this thing? I don't know. Norwegians must be very, very disappointed. Oh my god. I didn't know about this. The disappointment followed a chaotic and politically charged run-up to the huge production that prompted Norwegian Broadcasting to launch a thorough evaluation and issue clear feedback to the contest organizer. So Norway is unhappy with how the Eurovision Song Contest, how it went, how the broadcast went. What happened? Eurovision was chaotic and politically charged. Okay, what exactly does that mean? Here's the Norwegian band right here. How? Like, I get it. You don't always get to win, but dead last, I don't think the Norwegian song deserved that at all. By GOAT. Yeah. Norway's worst standing at Eurovision in years. What? Look, I get it. Like, maybe it wasn't, like Fairy Tale, that other Eurovision Norwegian song I know of that was really, really good. I think it won. All right, maybe it wasn't the next Fairy Tale, but it was a good song. There were some extra dramatic rounds yesterday, said Chief Bibke Firsthogen on Sunday. She acknowledged how she and her colleagues had talked a lot about conflict over Israel's participation in the contest. Oh, was that like some kind of political argument that was going on, a debate over Israel's participation? It sparked protests outside and inside the arena. Wow, protests literally at the contest. The Netherlands performer was suddenly dumped from the program. They had been amongst those most critical towards Israel's participation and was favored to win. But Eurovision officials reported that a complaint had been filed against him by a female member of the Eurovision production crew. There's so much going on here. What is going on? So some people are protesting Israel's involvement in Eurovision. The Netherlands was protesting it and was dumped from the contest because a female submitted a complaint over an unspecified incident. Okay. It would not be appropriate for him to continue in the contest. What did this Netherlands performer do? They got kicked out of the contest. Oh man. It was the Israeli entry that caused the most controversy. Oh my god, I had no idea about this. Like, I swear, as far as Eurovision goes, us Americans, we're completely in the dark about this. Like, I had no idea that there was a big protest and debates and arguments over this. Golan's initial song, October Rain, was rejected because of its political ties to the Hamas attack on Israel. But an alternate version, Hurricane, was allowed. Wow. Okay. Meanwhile, in Norway, Palestinian demonstrators maintained protests at Oslo. Yes, this led to more drama on Saturday, when last year's winner of Norway's Eurovision qualifier suddenly refused to go on air during the final to announce Norway's points. What? Last year's winner of Norway's Eurovision qualifier refused to go on air to announce Norway's points. Wow. The Eurovision motto, United by Music, has become empty words. There's genocide going on, she said in her announcement. So she protested and refused to go out and do her hosting duties. Um, man. Norway's Goat received good reviews for its song and performance tied to Norwegian culture and history. But that didn't help at all when the voting was over. What the? Norway's entry ended up in last place with 16 points. It was the worst showing in many years for Norway, which famously once won 0 points in the 1970s, but has won Eurovision 3 times since. I don't know what happened. What happened? Like the judges just didn't like the song? I don't get it. I don't get. I didn't get to watch the whole contest. Maybe there were other songs that were better. I don't know, but dang, to get last place? I'm 100% satisfied with what we have done, said Goat's lead singer. That's good. That's good. Seems like they're being good sports about it. Man, that's really. I wasn't expecting that. I was hoping to follow up on Norway's Eurovision entry this year. Sounds like Eurovision has been a bit crazy this year. Anyway, maybe it's just a throwaway year for Norway. Whatever. Just put it behind you. Come back next year. That's too bad. Okay. Revised state budget raids oil fund again and wealthy regions. So Norway has revised the state budget and they take money out of the oil fund? Is that right? Norway's left center government wants to spend an extra 20 billion krone this year to further boost defense. That's right, Norway wants to spend a lot more money on military and defense in case, like, war is coming, unfortunately. Norway wants to send more financial aid to Ukraine and Gaza and improve hospital care. That's very nice. In order to do that, the Labour and Centre parties are tapping more oil reserves and shifting funds from wealthy local governments to poorer ones. So Norway is actually tapping into the Norwegian oil fund, the really, really, really wealthy fund Norway has, in order to get a little more funding for these extra projects this year, like more military defense for Norway, and giving some money to Ukraine and Gaza. Got it. So Norway is just redoing its budget a bit. Okay, interesting. What is this? Royal glamour lives on for now. What does that mean exactly? Royal glamour? Is this talking about Norway's royal family? Like, are they glamorous? Or a large majority of Norwegians and Danes still support their monarchies, and the monarchs themselves back each other up. Yeah, I think I've heard that a lot of Norwegians are very supportive of Norway's king and royalty. The Norwegian royalty are very, very nice people, normal, down to earth. So Norway supports them. I think that's really cool. That came through loud and clear on Tuesday when Denmark's new king and queen sailed into Oslo and were met by fanfare and adulation. Oh, the king and queen of Denmark visited Oslo recently. Oh, they visited King Harald and the other Norwegian royalty hosted Denmark's royalty. Oh, cool, cool. Norway's 87-year-old king, Denmark's 55-year-old king became equals when Frederick's mother, Queen Margaret, abdicated. Right, there's a new king of Denmark after the queen abdicated the throne. Frederick is closer in age to King Harold's son, Crown Prince Haakon. They seem a generation apart. King Harold has made it clear he won't abdicate, viewing his role as a lifelong obligation. and he won't retire despite various health and mobility problems. Okay, cool. So this is just a little article about how the king of Denmark visited Norway, and the people of Norway gave him a very, very warm welcome. That's cool. I love hearing about how Norway has such a positive attitude towards royalty. In other parts of the world, I think other countries don't really like their royalty because they have a negative perception. They think that the royalty is really privileged and think they're better and rich. In Norway, this is like the first country I've ever heard of where people actually really, really love the king and the rest of the royal family for just love them as people, which is really cool. Cool. And Denmark seems to be similar, I guess. And finally, gratulerer. How do you say this? Gratulerer med dagen. Am I saying this correctly? Oh, I think this has to do with the 17th of May. Yes, which happened. Yeah, which happened on Friday. Sunshine and even some record-breaking warm temperatures got Norway's 7th of May celebrations off to a bright start. I hope everyone had a really fun 17th of May. This is kind of talking about the celebrations that happened in Norway. Okay, cool. For Norwegians around most of the country, flags were flying under clear blue skies from Sørlandet in south to Nordland up north. So all over Norway, basically. And not least of in Trondheim. So, this is Trondheim. There were flags flying, celebrations. It's Norway's most festive day of the year, when Norwegians celebrate not only their constitution, but their democracy and their freedom. Yeah, it really is like the equivalent of the American 4th of July, our Independence Day. Very cool. It's become more important after Russia invaded Ukraine 2 years ago, and Norwegians were reminded of how they were invaded and under occupation during World War II. Maybe that's a reason why Norway has a very, very strong sympathy towards Ukraine. Norway experienced something similar during World War II. I didn't realize that. That makes a lot of sense why Norway feels so close in like a kinship with Ukraine and this struggle. Here's someone singing. The news has often traveled around the country to cover the 17th of May, including cities like Longyearbyen in Svalbard, Kirkenes in Finnmark, Haugesund last year, and Bergen as well. Local traditions and celebrations may vary, and this year we're in Trondheim, rich in Viking history, home to Scandinavia's only medieval cathedral. Oh, so they covered Trondheim here. So do different cities in Norway have slightly different ways of celebrating Norwegian National Day? Like, are there different traditions or slightly different celebrations depending where you are in Norway? I think the one I've seen is the celebration in Oslo, which is always really, really cool to see. Okay, very cool. And there is Trondheim. They got some flags by the statue. Very cool. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. 17th of May just happened. Yeah. Okay, and I think with that, I think that's all caught up. That's all the Norwegian news for this week. That was really cool to hear about. 17th of May, the King of Denmark visiting, Norway adjusting its budget, on Eurovision, which actually turned out kind of bad, unfortunately. But anyway, it's all in good fun. It's just a song contest. It's fine. It's still a good song. So, this is good. I enjoyed this news quite a bit this week. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of this Norwegian news or any other Norwegian news that I might have missed this week. That'd be great to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.